business of speaking from a superiority background. So I will interact with you. You're going to have mics. That's my first point. Second point, I would like to request all of you to actually move forward. She already requested it to you like twice, but now I'm actually formally requesting it to you, or I directly don't speak. I am very formal on this. So could you please just move forward? If you can do it fast, it will help a lot. Thank you so much. Just move forward, please. Whoever is there in empty tables, one person or two people, just move forward. There are empty chairs here. Start filling the gaps, please, fast. Yes, ladies, you need to move forward. Don't look at each other like, what is this guy saying? I'm pretty saying that you have to move forward. It's very simple. Just move forward, please. I will not only not start, I will just leave. Very simple. Just this table is empty here. Excuse me, ladies, gentlemen. I see you two are both over there. You can just sit here, please. Yeah, you too. You are wearing blue and you're wearing white. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I have to start ruling here. It's not my perspective, not my job either, but I don't like to have empty gaps in between. I hope you understand that. It's difficult to interact with you, and it's difficult for you to see as well. Oh, that's wonderful. You just shifted sides. Doesn't matter, never. All right, so first of all, as you can see here, I'm going to speak about the future of police and artificial intelligence and robotics. So I'm going to touch upon this, robotics and crime prevention, mostly. So I'm going to highlight some features and devices, softwares that we have. But before commencing with this, how many of you know what Interpol is? Interpol, do you know what Interpol is? Okay, let's begin from the roots. You know what Telangana State Police is, right? You know what Mumbai Police is? You know what Scotland Yard is? You know what FBI is? You know what Europol is? So, yeah, that's the abbreviation, yeah, correct. So what is Interpol then? All right, I see you are very lethargic. I know the latest speech has not been so active, but mine has to be. So I'm going to make you interact. I'm not into the business of monologues. We're going to interact here. So if you don't interact, I force you to do so. You choose. It's fine with me. I can do both. I'm used to force people to do things. So I can keep forcing you for that as well. So there will be someone which I will also organize here to give you the mic. And you can ask questions anytime you want. Just raise your hand and ask a question. I have no problem you interrupting me at all whatsoever. I just want you to interact. Is that clear? All right. Now, what is Interpol? Just raise your hand and someone will give you a mic. Excuse me, there in the console. Yeah, you guys, you have a hand mic. We do, but I want you to bring it. Yeah, so this fellow here will give you the mic.
Yeah,
now,
criminals that are live in one country and migrate to another country.
Okay, and that put in a more formalized way, how would you define what Interpol is? Because if you don't know what is it, there is no point of explaining anything. So I need to explain the basics first.
Hello.
So we can proceed further. Yeah, go ahead.
International police.
All right, Interpol, International Police, correct. Now, what do we do? Are we a law enforcement agency?
No, it's a coordination.
It is a coordination center, correct, between all the police forces worldwide. Now, are we a law enforcement agency or not?
No.
So what are we then? What do we do?
Enable the local agencies to provide intelligence and...
Exactly. We provide intelligence. We are an intelligence agency. We are the NSA of the US, basically, but internationally. We connect all the police forces. So it's formed by police officials and by civilians both, with expertise in different fields of security. Now, my expertise comes in counterterrorism and cybersecurity, InfoSec. But we deal with this, obviously, because cybersecurity is strictly related to robotics and AI. Now that we have this clear, how many of you think that actually this is what a police robot would look like? Is this a police robot? Do you imagine the world that you go in the streets and you have this as a police robot? It will be pretty scary. I mean, this guy with AK-47 on top, I don't know, it will be pretty suspicious. For sure there won't be any crimes, but will we be respecting ethics? Or will it be discriminatory? What do you think? We will respect ethics of everyone. Can you go in the street with this? Why not? Why can't you go in the street with this? We're the police, we can do anything, right? Why can't you go in the street with this? What is the danger? If you're from the background, I suppose, obviously from robotics and AI. Now, what is the biggest danger of AI? Apart from that it starts controlling itself, what is the measurement that we have not taken care of yet in the artificial intelligence sector? Not talking about security, something much more basic than this. Not getting into psychological aspects either. Ethics, correct, ethics. Now, why is this unethical to be used? Why do you think is this unethical? You will be creating fear on people instantly. You see this is not very friendly. Therefore, we also designed something like this. We thought it would be more friendly, but it didn't work out either. So, do you imagine this in the streets? Do you imagine this as a police officer in the streets, patrolling the traffic, controlling the crimes, arresting you? You do? Do you? Do you imagine this? Do you think this is real? It's a prototype, but you know what the reality is? It's a bit more sad than this. This is the reality. This is the real police officers, robots, police officers, introduced in Dubai this year. They are not only pretty basic, they are a bit useless as well. A bit useless, I mean that they also they go into buffering in the screen. It's a disaster. It's a complete disaster. This what? No, this presentation I have done it myself, but I can send it to you, or someone from the team can send it. I can send it anytime, that's not a problem. These robots, as you can see it, what they basically do is charging you for the traffic fines, arresting you if required, talking to you, instructing you in directions, and so on. Very basic. Very basic, and also it gives you slaps by mistake. It happened last month. The robot slapped someone because the parameters that the robot is following, the person instructed something different, and the robot misunderstood the instructions, and there was a conglomerate of difficulties for the robot to understand the instruction, and the person went with a nice metallic slap in the face to the hospital. Now, this represents a big problem because these robots are almost harmless. It's just a slap. But what if we instruct and we actually design weaponized robots and they go wrong? It's a catastrophe. It's a holocaust we can create in the world. Therefore, we have to take measurements on this, how to prevent this kind of parameters from happening. Now, Dubai is very proud of the robots because Dubai is always proud of everything that is luxurious. I'm telling you, I live in the UAE, and everything is luxurious, and they love that way. And therefore, the police had to introduce something that way, and they forced us to work on this. Now, as I said, don't try talking to these robots. I cannot assure you that your health will be perfectly fine after interacting with them. So if you travel to Dubai anytime soon, do not come anywhere near them. It's my advice. You can do anything you want, but it's my advice. Then we have this. We have been working on this for quite a long time. This is called depth running. It comes from this website. We'll come to this slide later. Depth running is a ballistic helmet. Now, ballistic helmet is bulletproof against AK-47 even, and sometimes even a missile, but by now only AK-47. Now, we have been trying to introduce within the helmet something called the Jarvis. So, have any of you watched Iron Man, the movie? Did you watch Iron Man? I suppose if you like AI, you should have watched Iron Man, otherwise I don't know what you're doing here. But you have watched it. You remember how Robert Downey Jr. had the Jarvis, the automatic software that was designed on machine learning and was predicting different actions and measurements and so on. We are designing something similar for this helmet. So it will basically give you night vision. It will give you a mapping of the situation, where your colleagues are, where your enemies are, all the structure, possible exits, possible strategies as well. So it's taking a bit of time because, again, it was biased and it was with discrimination too. For example, considering black people criminals by default. So it's a big problem because you go to the US or you go to Africa and you will be completely measurement with that. So this helmet is still in design. But the trials we have done, that you can see some images here, it has worked well. At least it's bulletproof, we can assure that. And the Jarvis is performing well when it comes to mapping. That's the only thing that it does well. So if you want to check the website of this company, it's a private company which is collaborating with us. which is called DepTag, and they produce different items from helmets to weapons to full body suits. So you can check the website and see what they have. They have quite a variety of things, and you can order them even if you want. Then, drones. How many of you are working with drones normally? Is any of you working with drones? No, none of you works with drones. Okay. Now, in Bangalore, in Delhi, and in Mumbai, they're going to introduce, the police is going to introduce automated drones, designed on machine learning. Now, the drones that we are experiencing right now are this kind of drones, or this kind of drones that are actually functioning in the US, and Spain, in France, in Europe mostly, the European Union. So they are functioning on a very basic level. There is someone with a joystick in the drone command, and is controlling them. That's it. That is very basic, and it's not new. It's been there for years. But we have introduced something new that we have made them automated. So they're going to understand what the infractions are and how to prevent those infractions, and at the same time, how to prevent future infractions that we still don't know about. So it's a bit of a complex system that we are performing because there are a lot of things happening. And if you put it in Mumbai or in Delhi, with the amount of traffic, for example, for the traffic controlling, with the amount of cars and vehicles that are over there, the drone is going to go crazy, because it's impossible for the drone to measure so many items at the same time and accurately at the same time. Also, it's very complicated for us. In Europe, it still works well. As you can see, this is the US, but it works pretty well. There is a space between the cars. The drone is able to identify. If you go to Delhi, and especially Mumbai, I repeat, between the rickshaws, the trucks, the cars, the bikes, and the other guy with the truck, it's a mess. It's a mess for the drone. We tried it out. The drone crashed completely. It couldn't even measure anything. It was very complicated. So we are perfecting this kind of software in a different way. Let's see how it works out. So we are hoping that by the end of this year, 2017, it will be out in the streets, and you won't see any more RTOs and Pandus over there. You will just see the drones flying over and maybe coming down as well to charge your traffic fine. You won't get a letter at home. You will get the drone in front of you to pay. Of course, people will try to hit the drone and so on, but this drone is connected to the police directly, so you know what happens next. Now, this was robotics, as you can see. We work on the suits, we work as well on the automated robot, and we work on the helmet and the drones. Now, moving on the crime prevention softwares. Here we have done a bit more of advancement, and it's already in use. Some as advisors, some as full performance. Now, we have this Vision Box. Have any of you heard about this Vision Box? Did you hear about it? You heard about biometrics, I suppose, of course. So, have any of you been in London Heathrow anytime soon? How soon? Last week. Okay. So I think right now there are 25 boarding gates, if I'm not wrong, that have this. There is no people over there. There is nothing over there. There is only this. There is not even security checks anymore. It's still on trial against its bias at times. So what it basically does, as you can see the instructions, is very simple. You go and do your checking if not done previously already. You pass from the automated boarding control. So security, normally, you pass through the control, not talking about India, talking about abroad. You pass through the control, and there's a person that might check you, might not check you. It depends what they see on you. But if they check you, they have to check you manually. This machine will do a complete analysis, all right, of your body language, of your facial expressions. FACS is called Facial Action Coding System. And it will also recognize any kind of items that you might have on you and what items, the size, and so on. Similar with the luggage that you carry in the coming bag and in the checking bag. Now, this is pretty advanced, and it works well. Problem, it is biased. Why it is biased? Because this machine is not only connected to the real presence of yourself, it is connected to social media and the internet. So, you give your boarding pass, your name is over there, the machine will analyze your body language, it will recognize your face will be related to your name, and your name to the internet, to Google, and to all the social media or internet presence that you may have. So it will analyze in less than a second all the information and say if you are actually, let's say, a good citizen, a law-abiding citizen to fly in this aircraft or not. As you can imagine, this represents a big problem for us, because if you are more into, let's say, supporting Donald Trump, you might not be allowed to travel to certain countries. And vice versa, if you are supportive of, let's say, some Saudi Arabian or African or Pakistan country, you might not be able to travel to the US. So we are working on this. It is still taking some time. It does a basic, as you can see, as I said, the biometric system complete check on you. then it checks your social media and the internet, and then you go straight to the flight once you have cleared this. Another point, HERT. This is for Harm Assessment Risk Tool. Have you heard about this? It's been in use for a while, nearly 1.5 years already. So it's used by the Durham police in the UK, and it's being used right now by China. We are still on trial, and what this machine does is very simple. This machine predicts crime before they happen. It does crime prevention, but before the crimes have happened. So it's very similar to this. If you have watched this movie anytime, Minority Report by Tom Cruise, you show the movie, the crimes were predicted before they happen. So we got the idea, we work on the parameters, and we work it out. It's a nice software, it works well, it works with this accuracy, as you can see over here, for low, 98%, for medium, 92%, high risk, 88%. Problem with this, analyzes facts, body language, habits, age, gender, social media, and so on. Similar to Vision Box. However, this machine, preventing crimes before they happen, it also relates black people, Chinese people, maybe Indian-based people, or Pakistan origin people as criminals by default. Now, what this machine will do, for example, if I take you, gentlemen, for example, you go to, let's say, D-Mart or any kind of supermarket and you buy a knife. Your next habit will be go and buy, let's say, or check some weapon inside a weapon store. And your next habit will go to a church or to a mosque or to any kind of religious temple. So the machine, through the cameras which are placed in the city, will recognize that you have done these X, Y, and Z activities, will relate all of them together, and will understand that you might be likely to commit a crime. And of course, it will check your facial expressions. What happened? All right, all right. It will check your facial expressions, your body language, social media, and so on. So it will extremely relate to how likely are you to commit a crime in these three parameters, low, medium, or high risk. This might represent also as bias because black people are directly related to it. Chinese people are put into mafia and theft. The machine does that, not saying it. The machine has said that. And as well, people who join ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and different terrorist organizations, they are not, most of the times they are not showing out that they're going to join or they have any relation to the terrorist organization. But on the spot, at times they decide to do so, or within the psychological aspect they decide to do so, but the machine is not able to see this. So there is a lot of restriction within the machine that we need to work upon a lot. So if any of you is within the software system and would like to work on this software and try out how it works and as well trying to perfect it, we can always discuss some terms and conditions, and because we need help for this, and it's very, we have outsourced help from Apple and from Google and so on, but still they have not done the job sufficiently good as we would have liked to. Then you have this, Bodyguard. Have you heard about this? Bodyguard, home security. Now, this was designed for home security. Again, the same thing, biometrics, social media, your movements, and so on. So you have a house. You put this machine, is more or less this size, maybe some 20 inches machine. Not very big. You put it in the wall. You can put up to 2 maybe in the house. You put one in the entrance of your house. So whenever you enter the house, the machine will recognize and will record your sounds, will recognize your face, will recognize your voice, will analyze everything on social media, what have you done during the day, will even welcome you home. So it will be somehow some kind of a Jarvis as well, but in a lesser scale. But this machine, again, goes biased because we want to put this machine in the streets. So this was designed home security, very restricted space. When you are maybe 2, 3, 5 people, 6 people max, we have actually allotted the machine for, and you recognize everyone. So if a thief enters in your house, the machine will recognize that this person is not from the house, or this person is wearing a mask, and this person has opened the door in a different way than you do usually. It has not used a key, it has used some different sounds, so we will automatically call the police. But putting this in the streets represents a big problem. Why? In the house, it's restricted space, fine. 2, 3, 6 people can enter and can recognize who is different. But in the street, every day, everyone is different. Or most of the times, everyone is different. So we are trying it out now in corporates, MNCs most of the times, and not in India. We have tried in Singapore, and it's in trials as well in Germany. So in corporate buildings, and we have checked who enters, who doesn't enter, who is allowed to enter, what they have been doing yesterday. Again, many of you might think that this is a privacy breach, but tell me one thing. Can you prevent things from happening if you don't break someone's privacy? It is impossible for us. We have tried it out. We have worked at ethics. We have worked out privacy policies, but if we don't check what the person is doing, or what the person have done previously, or where they have been, what relation they have with this place or with this location, it is technically impossible for us to prevent something from happening to you. So that's how we analyze terrorist organizations. We do all the background check. That is complete breaking their privacy, but at this time, who cares? There is no other option. You want protection or you want privacy. You got to choose. There is not much to do on this. So we are working a middle term and see how we can work the ethics background. But this has a website as well. It's Bodyguard. You can Google it. You can even buy the device for your own house. It is available, but we are working on it for applying in the social sphere, in the streets. So it's a very innovative device. I tried it out. It worked well. I like the performance, but it has certain difficulties and certain limits that they need to be worked out as well. Then you have Valkyrie. Valkyrie is, again, something different. Valkyrie, basically what it does for us, you know that police officers need to connect dots, right? Do we need to connect dots? You know that for connecting a crime or a terrorist activity or any kind of murder or rape, we need to connect dots happening from different locations, background, and people. Now, this machine does not connect the dots for us. The machine gives us the dots to connect. So you have normally two screens. Here is a tablet, but normally you have two big screens happening there. So one screen you have the data, the other screen you have the location and the remaining data. So the machine in 0.712 seconds gives you the information that you need. For me, and for any analyst, an intelligence analyst, it takes us up to 70 searches to get all the information, background, immigration, family, relations, work performance, everything. 70 searches, which costs around 2 to 5 hours, depending on the person. But this machine does it in 1 second, and it gives us the information. So we just need to connect the dots according to our preferences and according to the case. So it's really innovative for that matter, and really quick and effective, as well as genuine for the information they give you, because it's not biased information anymore. It's very accurate in the performance. So this machine has been developed by Middlesex University in London, and it's funded by the European Commission, so that's why they have so much money they can afford to build this kind of device. And that's why they could afford to hire people from Google and Apple as well to perform on this software. So just to conclude my point, because now you're going to ask questions, I suppose. If not, we'll interact. What do you need to work upon? This is for you as well as for me, because you are in the sector of robotics and AI, all of you, as well as cybersecurity. Many of you I have spoken to before. So this is not only for us, this is also for you, because security is not a matter of concern to me or to law enforcement. It's a matter of concern to everyone. We are all here for security as well. We are actually thankful to be here today sitting, because we have security in the airports, and we have police and law enforcement and so on that use this kind of tools to prevent crimes from happening. Otherwise, we would have been victims to terrorism long back. So we need to work upon one thing first: privacy. Privacy, you have heard this word quite a lot in the recent 6 months. The government of India also launched, I think it released something against privacy, right? Some policy or some bill. Am I wrong? It was this year itself, right? I don't live in India, so I don't know, but I read about it. So it was this year itself, 2-3 months ago, if I remember. Sorry? Yeah, Supreme Court launched, they released a bill or something of the sort, right? Yeah, the privacy is your right, or something of that sort, right? That sounds very good, no doubt. But then they ask you to link your other card to your bank account. That makes sense, makes a lot of sense. Actually makes no sense, because you are breaking your own privacy. So you want the privacy as your right, but then I break your privacy instantly. I'm not going to talk about politics, keeping in mind who we just had right now, but I have my own perspective and opinion on this matter as well. Biased AI. As we all know, AI is most of the time completely biased for certain parameters and for certain others as well. Maybe the race, maybe the gender, maybe the age. So if any of you is able to work this out and perfectionate this system and this correction that needs to be made, we'll be really thankful to you for this, because this is not something that we can correct, not something that anyone can correct, but only a community of people who know about AI, who can work on AI and are interested in AI, can actually prevent from happening. Yeah? why are we designing AI? Are we designing AI to replace human beings or to help us? So why do I need bias help? I'm already biased myself, as you said. So why do I need another biased opinion? I need an accurate opinion, objective opinion. I don't need subjective opinions. I need denotative meanings, not cognitive meanings. For that, I already have my brain to do so. So otherwise, there wouldn't be any use to use artificial intelligence at all. You get my point? I need something accurate. So at least I can say, okay, I'm wrong, okay, I'm right, okay, I have an external opinion to compare to. Otherwise, it's very complicated. And if you put the previous devices of software I showed you earlier in Africa, and you the machine understands that black people equal to criminal, or black people, or people with blonde hair and turban equal to terrorist, then how are you going to even send them to Saudi Arabia? You get my point? You need to work out upon these things, and it's not that easy, because we all think that it's just changing one parameter in the coding. It's not as simple. The machine needs to understand all the parameters combination that we have, and it's quite complex for that matter. Then you have discrimination, which is again bias. Discriminates completely. Again, women or men, the age group, things to work upon. Criteria revision, as you said, the machine is biased, correct. The machine cannot be biased, as I said, and you say the machine is biased because we are biased. Now, the machine needs to be objective because of what I just stated, but we need to supervise the machine. So the machine needs to have some supervision.